What is up, my dudes? This is Seth with the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Back to you guys again with week 9 underdog plays. I'm joined with our co host, Jordan. Welcome back, Jordan. How are you feeling this week? We have some recent news, but I'll let you go first.
Had a good weekend. Kind of got boosted by a couple different plays. Good Monday night is the right way to say it.
Yeah, I think,
Good
yeah,
Monday night. Got there real late with neighbors and Pickens. To be honest, probably got lucky, but I've had enough bad breaks to feel like I deserve to win there. So a break
I
to go my way.
totally agree. And it helped, it fuels you going into this week. Um, I think we got some good picks for you guys this week. We're recording a little bit earlier. We're recording on Wednesday just because Halloween is tomorrow night on Thursday, which is when we usually record. I think this episode's still going to be released on Friday. So check this out on Friday. The lines will probably have moved a little bit since then. But let's get right into it, Jordan. What do you got for week 1?
Yeah, so I have my first play is going to be Patrick Mahomes here. I have Mahomes over 240.5 on the screen. I just looked. It is now 243.5. I'm not surprised this has moved. He gets his Buccaneers defense that is really, really bad against quarterbacks. They give the third most passing yards to quarterbacks. Five of the eight quarterbacks they faced this year have gone over the 240.5. I think all of them have gone over the 243 as well. I don't know that for sure. I'd have to double check that. Some like Spencer Rattler went over this number against the Bucs. So like, and the guys who didn't was Jaden Daniels week 1. Jalen Hurts was really bad in their game they played, and then I'm blanking on the third guy who didn't go over, but it's a really good matchup for quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes looks to be in a little bit more rhythm the last couple weeks. He's gone over this number the last couple weeks. I think he had 300 yards a few weeks ago. So and then this last week against the Raiders, he went over this number as well. So Mahomes seems to kind of be getting the hang of it, getting back on the right track, slowly but surely. Got a little bit of weapons added um, to the roster in Hopkins. So let me rephrase that. Patrick Mahomes, 2 of the last 3 weeks, has gone over this number. So he went over against the Saints a couple weeks ago, and then did not go over it against the Niners, and then went over it against the Raiders. So we just really, really like this
It
matchup for him. I think it's a really good spot for him.
Yeah, totally agree with you here. The Tampa Bay defense seems most exploitable through the air, and I think KC's going to take that next step. They have DeAndre Hopkins now. He'll be his second game with them. He'll have the playbook a little more down, so he'll be playing a lot more. Potentially going to see the ball in his hands, maybe on some big plays, which can be fueled, into that 243 line. I'll get into my first play this week. Let's see. I'll get into my first play. My first play this week, guys, is Bijan Robinson. I have Bijan on the receiving yards at 23.5. Bijan has been a consistent receiver for the Falcons, and Dallas is really bad against running backs. Now that's on the ground, but that's also through the air. I'm pretty sure in the last few games, running backs have been getting receiving yards over this 23.5 mark. I'm pretty sure it's averaging in the 30s, around mid 30s. So I really like this line for Bijan. There's no other running back that really gets any receiving work. Maybe Tyler Algier will get only one screen pass, but all the receiving work is going to be for Bijan. And Dallas is super exploitable through the air. And so I think the Falcons are going to have an air attack, and I think Bijan's going to benefit from the receiving side from that. I really think he can double this number in this game, though.
Yeah, the numbers moved down set to 22.5, but I think that's fine. Yeah, no, I like that one a lot too. In that game environment, I think there's going to be a lot of points, a lot of yards in that game.
Yeah, Jordan, let's get into your second play.
Yeah, so I got Chris Olave over 64.5 receiving yards. This number has stayed the same. Hasn't moved. So a couple different reasons why I like this number. I think Carolina is an awesome spot for most skill players, running backs, receivers, all of it. I think Kamara is interesting too in this game, but Olave, Derek Carr's back, and I think this number is way too low without Shaheed. So the combination of Derek Carr back, um, Shaheed out still is the first time we'll see Olave with Carr without Shaheed this year. Olave had a good game last week, went over this number. So I again, like I just think with Carr back, with no Shaheed, I don't think it's the algorithm is taking it. The algorithm that makes the lines is taking into fact those couple things. So I like this spot quite a bit for Olave.
Yeah, and it's the Carolina defense. Like Carolina's defense is not good. They're used to getting blown out in games, and I just think that's going to be continue here, especially with Carr coming back. The Saints offense is going to see an uptick in production overall, and I think that's a big part, mostly in part of because of Olave. I'll get into my second play. I also have a receiver this week. I have AJ Brown at 79.5. Receiving yards, I actually think this number's gone down um,
It's
since this
74.5 currently, Seth.
okay. Yeah, so 74.5. So it's gone down 5 yards, which is pretty significant. Which sometimes that makes you think like, hey, maybe Vegas thinks he's gonna get less yards. I think that just I from all these different sites I'm seeing prediction wise and what I know AJ Brown can do is I think he's gonna finish, in the 80s, 90s. He's gone over this number at 79.5 every game he's played in this year. And consistently he's over that number even comparable to last year. So AJ Brown is just a workhorse. He is one of the main motors in this Eagles offense. And Jacksonville's defense is not good, especially through the air. So AJ Brown can get this number in 3 catches, and he usually gets this number in about 5. So I feel pretty good about this. I also think AJ Brown 100-yard game is very possible too.
Yeah, I mean, it's Jacksonville. You want to attack this Jacksonville defense each and every week. I will get into my next play, Seth. My last play, I have Tyreek Hill over 75.5 receiving yards. We don't have the graphic up there with the play. Some just didn't get it up there this week. But we got a graphic of Tyreek Hill, just not the number. 75.5 receiving yards is the play. Let me double check if that's holding strong. Yep. Oh, 76.5. So about a yard up on that play. I here's the thing with Tyreek Hill. I just think the number's too low. It just feels too low to me with Tua back. And this Bills matchup isn't anything great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. I just think with Tua back, I think we saw Tyreek Hill consistently in the 80s, mid 80s, mid 80s to high 80s last week, or not last week, last year, and early in the year with Tua healthy. So I think this number, he had 72 yards in the first week back with Tua. So I think again, this is not I will admit, full transparency, this is my least favorite of the 3 I gave, but I think it just number feels too low for me.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like that play as well. There's one thing I've been recently doing a lot with these different underdog like alt lines. I had a special promo, $100 max, and I found a really and it basically discounts your play by I think 20%. And I did the AJ Brown line, and then I also used Tyreek Hill's alt line, and I use another alt line. I can't I'm blanking on the player, but I put it really low
I
as
think
well.
CD,
Oh,
CD
CD.
Lamb.
Yeah, CD. And they're lows as it can go, super low multiplier. But I mean, you put 100 max on there, and it's a pretty good multiplier for a 3 pick because that discount pick is still a normal multiplier. So it's pretty good. That's just something you guys want to look into. If you get underdog, you'll probably see that special promo pop up. I'll get into my last play this week. Guys, I'm going to a tight end here. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I'm thinking crazy here or what, but Cole Kmet has been good with Caleb Williams. They did not connect very well last week, but keep in mind, Caleb Williams completed 10 passes last week, and Cole Kmet got one, I think, for 15 yards. And that's half of that number. Okay. He got one catch for half of this number. I think Cole Kmet easily finishes with over this number. I really like it against Arizona's defense, which really their defense is not that good. And Cole Kmet, I think, is one of the featured targets in this offense. And I think he's going to get 3 to 4 catches. And I think he's going to get this number pretty easy, guys. I really like this line.
Yeah, Seth, I think it's good. Yeah, that last game, I was on the Kmet yards last week, and it was just kind of a weird game where he just couldn't complete passes. So, and they were running the ball so effectively. Yeah, weird game. I wouldn't necessarily like use that last week as like a precursor, like a predictive of what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, it's an outlier in the mean for sure. We have an official pod play for you guys this week. We got a graphic for it this week, so that's pretty exciting. We have
Yeah,
Patrick
so
Mahomes. Yeah, go ahead, Jordan.
go
You
ahead,
get
Seth. No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. You go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. We're using 2 of Jordan's plays and one of mine. I have Patrick Mahomes at 243 now, I believe it's at. Over passing yards, Chris Olave at 64.5 receiving yards. That line is staying the same. And AJ Brown, I believe, is also this is the line it's at now is 71.5 receiving, or no, 74.5 receiving yards now. Really like this play, guys. We would recommend a full unit on this one. If you guys really like this episode, please like, share, and subscribe it. Subscribe with our channel here. Also check out our every week pod that we do, where we preview games and we pick some starts, sits, and sleepers. And really, it features all 4 of us podcast hosts on there. So that's pretty fun. A lot of playful banter on that one. Anyways, guys, hope you have a good week, and let's win some more money.
Good luck, guys.
This has been another episode of the Fantasy Football Dudes podcast. Remember to rate, review, and follow. For more information, go to www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. And remember, we are sorry for absolutely nothing.